Hey everyone, how you doing? I want to talk about JavaScript proxies, specifically related to deprecations. The first thing we want to do is see what a proxy is. It takes an object and it takes some options, which is also an object. And if we want to create those, it'd be something like object equals this and options equals that. Problem solved. Hey, we created a proxy. But how do you use proxies? Let's take a look at how you might use them. The first thing we want to do is create a library, a theme library, or some component library that you're using in your applications today. And we're going to create a font sizes object. So this is a set of data, and in this case, we're defining some font sizes, and we have a small one. Normally in your apps, this might be something else. It wouldn't necessarily be a string. These are the font sizes you can choose in your application today. If somebody wants this, you'll go ahead and export default font sizes. And in their application, they're going to do an import font sizes from whatever library. Eventually it'll come like this, and it'll come from at your company component library. This is where you're going to import it. So the export here, this default export is going to be a regular export by the time it gets into the library. This is what it looks like. Somebody changed something. You guys got some new design specs, and you found out you actually wanted an extra small and an extra large. You added extra small and extra large. Now these exist in your font sizes, and when somebody needs to use them, they would do font sizes dot small or font sizes dot extra large. Everything works fine. The problem is we actually are changing these extra sizes now. We don't want them called extra, we want them called something else. Gigantic and tiny, for instance. We're gonna add gigantic and tiny. Now that we've added those, what happens to these? We want people to stop using them. The first thing we got to do is replace them. We got to use the new values so that the current code works today, but with the new sizes. Our libraries are going to expect the words gigantic and tiny, and we need to somehow translate these into the new version. But we still don't want people using these. How can we fix that? There are some ways to fix it, like ESLint rules and other things. In this case, we're going to deprecate it here. Although nobody's ever going to look at this source code and know that these are deprecated. Also, if you ever do something like this, object.entries on font sizes or object.keys on font sizes, what are you going to get? You're going to get every single piece here. You're not going to get just these things. You're going to get all of it. You don't want all of it. You only want the things that you care about that are currently in there today that are in production, because you might need to put these in your documentation or something like that. So then what are you going to do at that point? You might do something where you do one of these guys and you do a legacy font sizes. Then you put these up there, and you don't need this deprecated piece anymore. This is just a convention that you're using. Now that you've got these legacy font sizes and these font sizes, you still have to export them separately. You can do this just fine, but now they need to be exported separately so that your component library can deal with them. If somebody else wants to deal with them, the problem is they're not going to import these separately. They might import it separately, but then their existing code will break. You don't want to break their existing code, so you might do something like this. And then now you've exported an object here, which contains both of them. The problem is they're still going to get everything together, just your code base won't, which in some cases might be what you want. In this case, it is not what we want. We don't want to be getting everything. We only want to get the things that belong in there. We want to make it easy that if somebody logs this, they're going to be able to see the correct object with the correct props on it. We don't want it to have all these legacy props in it. We also don't want to export these separately in our library, because if we do that and these names change again, we have to keep moving things to legacy font sizes and add more here. We get into this problem where we keep creating legacy. We keep creating tech debt because we keep having all of these other things that we now have to maintain. And we have to make sure that anytime you upgrade the library, you have to go through and migrate all this stuff. Most of the time, you don't want to have to do that migration. You can avoid it, and you can let people do it over time. But you also need to make sure that the exports are correct. How do you make sure these exports are correct where you're not doing one of these? That's where you use a proxy. And we're going to use a proxied font sizes. That's obviously spelled wrong. And we're going to create that. It is a new proxy. It's going to take the font sizes and some options. In this case, we're going to call it proxied font size options, or proxied font sizes options, which, yep, we're going to call it that. And the only reason we're going to call it that is to make it clear our intention. We could just call it options or proxy options. That's another thing. Proxy options doesn't really matter. And we're going to define a get function here. You're probably wondering why there is a get function. What the heck is a get function? What's the purpose of this? A get function on a proxy, or really on any object, is when you do something like this. You got font sizes dot small. You've done a get function, but there's no function call. We're not calling small. We're just defining it. But in terms of an object, there's a difference between calling that object and doing a dot notation to define the object on the property. Doing this dot notation here, where you're doing dot small, that actually makes a call in the object internally. It has to do a lookup here to find small and give you this value associated with that property name. There's another way we can mimic that exact same behavior using a reflection. If we do reflect.get and we give it font sizes, then we can give it the property name and it will get us that property name. This will return the exact same thing as this will, but this is more explicit and shows you exactly how you can do it. We will use reflections in our proxy because reflections are the default behavior that you would normally get. If we modify the get on this object, we need to have a way to go back to the original functionality. A reflection is how you get that original functionality. Let's take that reflection and move it back into our proxy. We've got this get call, and it gets you a target and our prop name. The target can be something else. The reason it can be something else is if you have something like font sizes.small.value. You can do that because you've got an object and then another object. The target could be either one. The options that you give it don't know. They don't know what the target is. These options are just options. They could go to any proxy. You could proxy a proxy. You could return another proxy. Let's not go into that. That's a little complex at this point. The important thing we want to look at is how we put stuff in here so that we can get this working. The first thing we want to do is return our reflection. We return with our target and prop name. There's actually a third arg. It's called receiver. We don't really need to worry about it, but I'm going to pass it in anyway just to keep this the same as it was before. Then we need to define what happens if a legacy prop comes in. This is the default behavior, which in this case would give us one of these values. But we also want to define what we do with these legacy font sizes. We actually need two things here. We're going to need to define the replacement name and the replacement value. In this case, they're both the same. But that's not always the case. In this case, they're the same because we have a string-to-string match. But if for some reason this was gigantic 2 here, then the replacement name here would be gigantic, which is the prop name, and the replacement value would be gigantic 2. The only reason I'm doing this is just to make it more clear, so that's obvious to people what's going on when I start writing the next piece of code. Now we need a condition. We need a condition that tells us if we have any legacy props. We want this to be our object. We don't want these included in our object. Proxy is going to help us with that, but we still want the old functionality of being able to say font sizes dot extra large. We still want this, even though extra large is not part of it. We still want our old code to work. To get that to work, you want to check if the prop name is in legacy font sizes. If it is in there, then we want to return the legacy font sizes from that prop, and then we want to get the replacement value out of that. What we've done is make our font sizes have these particular values, but you also gain access to the extra large and extra small values. They just don't appear inside of your font sizes object. That's a really nice separation of concerns and also helps with documentation. The next thing you'll want to do is something like this so that people know they should never use that again and they have an alternative. For instance, we're going to say that this prop name that you're trying to use, which is extra large or extra small, is deprecated. And then we're also going to say that people should use something else instead. We're going to say use. Now, in this case, it's a little bit different. It's legacy font sizes, prop name dot replacement name instead. Use the replacement name instead. There we go. Problem solved. We can also clean this up a little bit more because we know about this. We, instead of having to do this, which is not the exact same, but we could say legacy prop, something like this. Or we could even do it once we've checked that it's in there. We could then say, okay, it's in there. Here's our legacy prop. And then all we got to do is legacy prop dot replacement name and legacy prop dot replacement value. This is another way, cleans it up just a little bit. The real thing you want to see is how does this really work? First thing I'm going to do is get rid of this export, and then I'm going to copy this and paste it into the console. And we've got undefined, which is correct because we didn't export anything. But I want to see what this proxy font sizes is. This looks just like I would expect. But when we expand it, wait, where did our object go? Where are all of our props? They're under target, and that's where you can then see it. But you don't want to use this target thing. It's built into the proxy, but you don't want to use it. Let's do some experiments. First thing, we're going to get our proxy font sizes .small. What do we get? Small. Perfect. It's working correctly. Great. What about large? Yeah. And we want to check extra small and extra large. Extra small. Oh, extra small is deprecated. Use tiny instead. And it still gives us tiny anyway, because it's translated to the new version, even though it's telling us that's deprecated. That's pretty nice. And we can also get that for extra large. It does the same thing. That's how these proxies work. And that's why they're so important when you're doing some kind of deprecation work. It helps you do this kind of stuff without affecting people's workflow. If they upgrade the library, .extra large, .extra small still works. They will convert internally to gigantic and to tiny. It'll give you a console warning and then tell you what it expected in the first place. This is a great way to do deprecations. It also means that when we do something like this, object keys on proxied font sizes, we get a list of all the font sizes that are available, but not the deprecated ones. That's the cool part of using proxies like this. You're getting exactly the behavior you expect without having to do anything super crazy. If you look at the code, there's nothing too crazy about this. Yes, it's a little bit of extra in here to do that, but you could write this a little bit simpler for your application. You could even do a New Relic log here. You could do whatever you want to track this to make sure that these aren't getting used anymore. Over time, fixes are able to be made. This particular situation could have been solved with a custom ESLint rule, which would auto-fix it out and change extra large to tiny, or you could have just find and replaced. That's not always the case, but you also don't want to make random changes in people's applications without them knowing about it. Doing something like this allows you to do that change over time. If you really wanted to, you could still keep these as extra large here. You could use this extra large as the value still, but you can say the replacement name is gigantic, so you should be using that instead. There are lots of things you can do, and there are lots of benefits to doing this, but look how simple it was to write the proxy. The proxy is essentially the proxy options, but you're proxying a specific object like font sizes. This should help you more with understanding how to do proxies in JavaScript. Now, the reason I really care about proxies, and the reason I really want to explain them, is because knowing proxies allows you to understand more complex uses of proxies. If you understand the basics like this, you can start to get into state management utilities that use proxies. They're used in a lot of popular libraries and frameworks today. Highly recommend you understand proxies because you're going to use them regardless of if you know that you're using them or not.